Welcome back to the news at 10. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Linda Akigbe. Hey, Linda.
Hello, Ijoma. Now to labor matters. Electricity workers are picketing the Ministry of Power in the nation's capital over issues of welfare and alleged non-implementation of agreements reached with the union. The members of a senior staff association of electricity and allied companies have blocked the entry gate into the ministry, leaving workers unable to gain access into their offices. The protesters, carrying placards bearing different inscriptions, are calling for the sack of the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, accusing him of having taken sides with the government in the matter in dispute.
It is an unusual Tuesday morning for staff of the Transmission Company of Nigeria and Ministry of Power, Works and Housing in Abuja, the nation's capital. Protesters form a huge barricade at the entrance of the ministry, making it impossible for workers to gain access into their offices. The protesters are members of the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies, displaying placards bearing different inscriptions and calling for the sack of the Managing Director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, as well as demanding for the immediate implementation of the reviewed 2016 salary structure.
This man refused to give us ears for salary review, and everybody knows in this country there are organizations that after 2 years, they sit down with their unions and review salary, because everybody knows what you are earning in January of every year is not the same thing as what you will earn in December of the same year. So some organizations put in 2 years, 3 years to review salary, but this man refused to sit down with us and discuss the issue of salary review for staff.
Although no management staff of TCN was on hand to address the protesters, we later got the managing director who responded to some of the allegations.
It is the senior staff association we have issue with them because at a point in time, the president had wanted us to transfer him to Lagos to become the general manager of Lagos. But we did interview and we didn't find him suitable for that position. Since that time, he has taken management for a fight. In fact, the immediate and remote cause of the last action that they did was a query that we gave him just yesterday. We gave him a query because he's a staff of TCN and he has to live by the rules and condition of service of TCN. And the reply to the query is the mobilization of those people that he brought.
Some of the issues leading to this protest are nagging industrial disputes that have lingered since 2014. It is hoped that all the parties involved will come to a round table one day and address these issues once and for all.
A federal high court presided over by Justice Stephen Palm has mandated the Inspector General of Police to enforce the warrant of arrest issued against the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, for alleged contempt of court. At the resumed hearing of the contempt proceedings, Justice Palm held that there was no document before the court to show that the appeal court has stopped the arrest of the INEC chairman, as a record of a said judgment of the appeal court is yet to be transmitted to the court. Justice Abdullah Buki of the Court of Appeal had on Monday delivered the judgment stopping the enforcement of the warrant of arrest issued against the INEC chairman following an appeal filed by Professor Yakubu challenging the arrest warrant issued against him by the Federal High Court. The federal government and the Kano state government have signed a 12.7 billion naira agreement on the expansion of water and sanitation services to residents of Kano. The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, says the partnership for expanded water supply, sanitation and hygiene is a 15-year agreement which spans from 2016 to 2030 in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 6 for overall target of providing adequate and qualitative access to water at an affordable price. The minister says the partnership is a fallout of efforts by the federal government to meet its SDG commitment.
The P-WASH is a 15-year program that is divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 being the period 2016 to 2018, the preparatory phase that is devoted to advocacy, mobilization, and takeoff. Phase 2 will span 2019 to 2025 for substantial infrastructure development, while Phase 3 will be implemented from 2016 to 2030 and will consolidate the program implementation. Upon full implementation of the 3 phases, it is planned to achieve 0% open defecation and 100% access to water supply, especially in the rural areas. On water supply, to rehabilitate 7,693 facilities and provide 17,264 facilities to increase access to rural water supply from 57% to 62%. On sanitation, we intend to have between 2016 and 2018 a total of 3,000 household toilets and 3 million household toilets and 3,300 public toilets during the period, hoping to reduce open defecation from 25% to 22%.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot for that, Linda. The Industrial Training Fund says the lack of relevant skills is partly responsible for the high rate of unemployment in the country. The Director General of the ITF, Joseph Ari, who stated this at a World Conference held in Abuja, also reeled out some programs of the agency to tackle the challenge. He also highlighted lack of skills as being responsible for Nigerians losing jobs to foreigners.
There is a huge wave of unemployment in many parts of the world today, especially in Nigeria. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's unemployment rate as at the third quarter of 2017 stood at 18.8%. While some say that this high figure is due to the unavailability of jobs, the Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, who is hosting this World Press Conference, argues that the largely unskilled workforce could be responsible.
Despite rising unemployment, numerous vacancies still existed in several sectors of the national economy that either could not be filled by Nigerians because of the absence of the requisite skills or were being filled by foreigners.
He highlights some of the steps the fund has taken to close the skills gap.
Management came up with a list of implementable programs for year 2018. The programs are as follows: National Industrial Skills Development Program, NISDP, Women's Skills Empowerment Program, WOSEP, Designing and Garment Making Training on Wheels for Nigerian Youths, Skills Training and Empowerment Program for the Physically Challenged, Step C.
In tackling unemployment through skills acquisition, the ITF insists on the need for cooperation and collaboration beyond the federal government and the ITF.
The number of trainees we are commencing with, which is over 13,000, is like a drop of water in the ocean. It is in this regard that we seize this opportunity to call on state governments and other stakeholders to sponsor additional trainees. Such sponsorship will entail payment of monthly stipends to the trainees, payment of master craftsman allowance, and provision of startup kits to trainees.
The ITF believes that the introduction of technical vocational education and training is the only sure way to gainfully engage as many Nigerians as possible in skills acquisition.
I would like you also to speak to that. Then secondly,
Let's take a look at business news now. Here's Kayode Okikiolu.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Ijoma. You're welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has indicated interest in facilitating the listing of indigenous oil and gas companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The Executive Secretary, Mr. Simbi Wabote, after closing the trading session today, notes that the NSE corporate governance standard is useful for local oil and gas firms.
We also see how we help the Nigerian companies that are in the oil and gas sector with the funding that we provide working with Bank of Industry in order to get them to grow faster and be prominent players in the oil and gas sector. Decision to list in the stock exchange is predominantly theirs. Once the enabling environment is there and all the issues associated with being a company listed in the exchange are met by these companies. There is a process which I believe that most of the companies will benefit at the end of the day through those processes. For instance, the corporate governance requirement to be listed on the exchange, I think it's wonderful, and it has helped a lot of companies to be transparent, and their activities are visible for everybody to see.
And outside Nigeria, Ghana's central bank has announced plans to prosecute executives of failed local lenders suspected of diverting depositors' funds and insider dealing. The Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, LC Awadze, says the regulator is also considering barring culpable directors from operating in the Ghana financial sector. The regulator on August the 1st revoked the licenses of Unibank and smaller peers Royal Bank, Beige Bank, Sovereign Bank and Construction Bank, and had appointed a receiver to manage their assets after they had become insolvent. Ghana is in its final year of a $918 million deal with the International Monetary Fund to restore fiscal stability, reduce public debt, and improve financial sector integrity. And coming back to Nigeria, bearish sentiments extended into the close of today's trading session at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, marking its 8th consecutive day decline due to more sell-offs by portfolio investors. Bisi Adebayo tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Trading sentiments remain downbeat for a second day in the week at the NSE, with investors' concerns still tied around the risk aversion in the market. The market's main index dropped further by 0.35% today, nearly approaching the 34,000 level, while the total value of listed equities fell deeper by 40 billion naira from Monday's figure to 12.88 trillion naira. Sell-offs also dominated key components of the four major sectors, while the consumer goods sector managed to eke out 0.10% gain on support from international breweries. Price performance chart remains negative, with 33 losers led by 10% loss from ABC Transport and Union Dicon. Mutual Benefit led a pack of 13 gainers up by 10%, while UBA, Lasako and FBN Holdings are the highest contributors to the overall volume for the day. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Bisi Adebayo.
Thank you, Bisi. It's a mixed close for major global stock indexes after regaining some ground from Monday's downturn, following a rebound in the Turkish currency, the lira, from an all-time low. Let's now take a look at the closing figures for Tuesday. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's now back to you, Ijeoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks, Kayode. Still ahead on the news at 10, FIFA gives Nigeria August the 20th deadline to resolve internal crisis rocking Nigeria Football Federation or face international ban. That's on Sports News. Just stay with us.